I think the thing we're missing most often in our business is honesty, and not honesty and transparency with those around us, but honesty and transparency with ourselves. I think the thing we're missing most often in our business is honesty, and not honesty and transparency with those around us, but honesty and transparency with ourselves. What I mean by that is we are all the time running from our truth. And by truth, I mean just what's coming up with inside of us. We are resisting, we are pushing things down, we are pretending that things just are not happening, we are repressing, we are doing everything in our power not to face what needs to be seen. And we're not being honest with ourselves. We're telling ourselves these stories, and we don't even necessarily know where these stories are coming from. We keep telling ourselves these things over and over and over, and then that disrupts our ability to take action. And then we spin in circles, because those circles, we can't take the action and step out of that circle because we don't know what that action is. We don't know what that aligned next step even looks like. And we oftentimes forget how much we change as people, how much our business evolves, how much we evolve, and how much our business evolves as a result of what we do in our inner work. So sometimes we think about where we started and where we're going, and it just doesn't add up, and something feels off and it feels wrong. And this can be in a lot of different areas of our life. But the thing is, you really have to begin to be very, very honest with yourself. You have to say, where am I not telling myself the whole truth, or where am I even sugarcoating it? And why am I doing that? Why am I avoiding that? So, a big thing for me is I have 4 kids. I homeschool my kids. I've homeschooled all of them. 3 of them have never went to a brick and mortar school, and my oldest only went for Head Start and pre-K. And so then she's been home since then, and now she's a freshman in high school. So it's been a very long time. And when I first started homeschooling, I absolutely loved it. I loved everything about it, but it was also one of the only things I did. It was the only thing I did during my day. I had a couple of like what I would call like side hustles, but I was pouring so much into my homeschooling journey. And then as my business started to evolve, I started to get really spread thin, but I still had these thoughts and these beliefs and these conditioned experiences that I should be doing all this on my own because I was Superwoman, right? Like that is something that was a visual that it was painted about me from those that followed me in my business, those in my life, that I could do all of these things and still have a successful business while taking care of my kids. And I carried that for so long. Now, it didn't change why I want my kids to be home, right? And why that's important for me to homeschooling them. But where I got to just this week and today actually was we've been butting up against how do we do this? How do I keep building this momentum in my business and homeschooling my children? So there was a big question that had to be answered. And what I had to find is, where am I not being honest with myself? And the honest truth is that I was tired of homeschooling. I was tired of doing all of it on my own. And I really wanted to put more time and effort and energy into building my business and taking the momentum that we have and really running with it and 10xing what's already successful. But I had to be honest, and that was hard for me to say, I don't want to do this anymore, because up until this point, there one point it was true that I absolutely loved it and I didn't want to do anything else. And then that started to change. The pressures, the difficulties that I've had with my children and their education, just from some different learning disabilities and some other challenges that we have, those all things that have come up, and I was not willing to look at it. So why am I talking about this when it comes to business? Well, first, you have to recognize how much pressure that put on me in my personal life, that pulled me away and distracted me and caused a lot of resistance in my business. And so these two things aren't separate, especially if you're working for yourself or you're growing your own business. Your personal life and your business life are the same, right? So if you're not working on things personally, then your business can't grow. And I wasn't being honest with myself about what was true, and that was that I was done. And when I finally said, I'm done doing this on my own, right? We found a solution. We found a hybrid option. We hired someone to help the kids on 2 different days of the week. And so I'm not having to do the bulk of any of this anymore. So we found the solution, and that came with me being honest. It came with me being open to different possibilities and stop trying to do everything on my own, because there's always that hidden payoff. And before I needed that validation for someone to say, good job, Kayla, you're doing great. You're amazing. You're the best. I needed all of that. And so that was the story I was operating out of, even though I didn't need that validation anymore, even though I validate myself in very different ways. And I don't even worry about the external validation anymore. But what you have to realize is that when you start in these conditioned responses, they still carry along with you. They're still present in your life. And so then you have to question them. You have to be so honest with yourself and you have to say, why am I doing this or why am I not doing this? So I think what holds us back the most in business is being unwilling to be truthful. Because once we say that thing that maybe other people might look at and say, oh, I don't know why she would do that. Or I don't know why they would do that. Or why would they make that choice? Or why would they say that? Oh my gosh, it's so horrible. Now she's saying she doesn't even want to homeschool her kids. Does she not care about them? She wants to build her business and not homeschool her kids. There's so many different stereotypes and weight that we feel from our societal conditioning. And I'm not even telling you to challenge that in the external. I'm telling you to challenge that here and say, if I'm being honest with myself, what do I want? If I'm being honest with myself, what are my next steps? If I'm being honest with myself, why am I really holding myself back? And when you allow yourself to be honest, when you allow yourself to create this space of exploration within you, things truly start to change in the external. You really start to have a different experience. So that's what I really challenge you to do is just to say, how can I be more honest with myself in my personal life and in my business? Where am I actually holding myself back? What is it that I am unwilling to face because it's uncomfortable? And here's the thing. You have to be willing to face the uncomfortable. You have to be able to say, it's time to let it go. It's time for me not to live out of these stories anymore. It's time for my life to look differently because I'm going to experience it differently because my truth is going to be different. I'm willing to step into things and share things that are new and different for me. I'm willing to do that. You have to be willing to do that. I actually have a course that I think would be really, really, really helpful if you are struggling with conditioning and understanding and trying to get to that deep root of what's going on within you and understanding how we operate out of limiting beliefs that come from other people. And there's so many different layers to this. It's called Emotionally Unstoppable. I'll drop the link below, but it's something that is absolutely powerful. And it's something that you can wade through what's coming up for you so you can step into that radical honesty and the radical responsibility that comes along with being honest with yourself. So I really challenge you today. One, check out that course. It's extremely affordable. It's only $33, but check out that course. But today, just start to be honest with yourself. Where are you actually holding yourself back? Where are you afraid to tell yourself the truth? And how are you doing that so you can stay comfortable? I would love to hear what that looks like for you in the comments. What is it that you're ready to let go of? Or what questions does this bring up for you?